All right, guys, we need to talk some Zcash. And here we have Bitmain's latest Zcash miner Z15 Pro, which is the same as their other models from a few years back, but they're gone. They're already shipped out, and their next shipping date says futures September 2026. So they got even more batches coming out. Now, I found a bunch of different websites that have them currently on sale right now, where you can order these miners in right now and get them to you. April delivery batches is available on third parties, so that's might be where they all went. I don't 100% know, but if you want to get one of these, obviously links down in the description, guys. They're probably going to sell it pretty darn fast because of FOMO. But before you do, you got to listen to what I got to say. I don't urge anyone to get them. Again, people are going to get them. Use the links, but I don't recommend anyone to do so. And here's why. So let's rewind a little bit. And as we can see, since about 2017, from the epic listing failure, just like every coin, when it gets listed, it's super high and then it dumps to nothing. So here we can see Zcash has been in the 30 to 100 to whatever dollars for a long time now. And it's been a pretty dead flatline coin. And then recently, it like missed the past bull run completely. Here's 2021, and it didn't really do much. It went to 305 actually, which is close to where we are right now. So it's actually doing, I guess, altcoin stuff. But recently, it had pretty much, I don't want to say all-time high because we can see it up here, but for the most part, it hit a new all-time high since being dead. It made a dead time high. Does that make sense? I guess in a way, dead time high. That's a new term. We're going to roll with it for altcoins. But if we look in the past year, that happened around October here. So just, September, so it came up, but here's when it really started spiking, and that was around October. And we can see it shot up to, it did peak over $700. Then it went down, but it's maintaining pretty decent here, and the probability has been anywhere from 40 to 80, $100 a day. Obviously it was around 100 or so, 80, 100 up, and when it peaked, it's down a lot more to 30 to 40, but it's been one of the top ASICs to have. Here we can see it's in second place still at, this is at 8 cent power. Let's move this to 12. We got 12-cent power here. We can see it's at $23 a day right now. So obviously down a lot more than it used to be. It's still the second most profitable ASIC, and it's been here in the profitability list since October pretty much. But let's take a look at some network hash rate, and I'm going to kind of tell you why. So here's the network hash rate on Zcash. It's 6.7 graphs per second and gigagraphs or whatever they have going on here for their thing. But as we can see, it went from 7, 8, 6, and then this is when it started peaking. Here we can see in October, the difficulty started exploding. That is people digging out all their old miners they could find, people selling miners they could find, other people getting them and turning them on. Everything that could turn on, turned on. And that's why it remained profitable. Is the price shot up so high, and it's still decent for profits, but there's no other miners to turn on at this point. Normally, if there's a bunch of miners out there and they were available, this would have kept going like this, up, 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 like that. But it didn't. It hit a certain point where there's only a certain amount of hardware online, and no more hardware could turn on. Because remember, these are older miners, and like 6 months before all this, so say back in this area here and prior, you could buy these miners like $50 to $100. Like, they were dirt cheap because they were not profitable. They weren't making anything, and all of a sudden Zcash spikes, and Bitmain wasn't making any more for a couple of years and stuff now, so there were no more. Hash rate spikes because the price went up, and profitability remained because there's no extra hash rate to come on. And now that's about to change. So now we have Bitmain, and this is in futures. It was previously in April for shipping this month. I looked at it a couple of weeks ago in a live stream, and it says shipping now and stuff. April looks like those are all gone, and now it's saying futures. So yet another batch for September. But again, like I said, here's one from Crypto Miner Bros, link in the description, discount codes and everything if you want to utilize that. But here it is, $48.99 from Miner Bros. Here we have Coin Mining Central, it's $59. Now Coin Mining Central does have shipping and imports and everything in the price already, but if you're in the States, obviously that's most people that care about imports live in the States because of tariffs. I can only click on United Kingdom. So if you're from the United Kingdom, then this might be where you want to get yours. Rest of the world, I can't click on. So I don't know if you can order it if you're from the States or not. So, you'd have to try it or something. Other stores we have here, I do have Apex 2. Looks like they got it for 4,700 here, and they got an April batch coming on back order, which I think is probably the future. It's not really this back order, but obviously that cuts the price way down. But still, depending on what happens, these used to only be like $50 to $100. So even this looks way cheaper than now. It's still probably not that good of a deal with what's going on with Zcash. We also have ASL Miner has them here for $4,500. So again, I'll have links to all of this down in the description if you want to try to pick one up. But I'm urging you guys that profitability is going to start dropping because now more hash is available. Now it all comes down to, are people going to buy these miners? So I guess, let me know in the comment section. Are you buying more of these miners? Are you not buying these miners? Let me know because it'll help me kind of distinguish how things are actually going to move. If you guys are buying them, obviously we're going to see less probability as network difficulty picks up. If you don't buy them, it's going to remain the same, and everybody that has them is going to remain profitable. So if everyone sees everything is remaining profitable, then they'll start buying them and the probability will drop. It's a never-ending cycle, but that's pretty much how it works. So we're going to need Zcash to go up quite a bit more to handle this extra hash rate that's going to come in, depending on how many got made and get sold and get purchased and turned on and so on. All those factors come into play that we don't know of, but pretty much, it's there and available for people to buy now that it wasn't before. So we're going to see the probability drop even if the price doesn't drop, but because that network hash rate and difficulty is going to begin climbing. So that's something we definitely got to watch. Is right now we're at 12.94 GS per second. So let's just go 12.94 is what they're at. We're gonna have to keep an eye on this over the next couple of weeks, couple of months, and see what happens with the network hash rate. Is it gonna go up? Is it gonna go down because no one's buying these? And another major thing that may be coming in is Zcash does have plans for possibly proof of stake, which means getting rid of mining altogether. So just a quick Google search here and says, yes, Zcash is moving toward proof of stake POS, but the current plan is a hybrid proof of work POS transition rather than an immediate full switch, which pretty much means when they first start testing stuff, they're going to have half and half or, 75%, 25%. We don't know, but it'll be a hybrid at first to kind of work on it to make sure it works. And then it'll eventually go to full proof of stake if that ever gets implemented. First we got to wait for the hybrid part. If we start seeing talk about the hybrid coming in, because remember it was like 2018 2020 when they first started talking about this, and it's still full proof of work. But if they start moving the hybrid, obviously hybrid means they're going to be cutting half your rewards off right there. So that's already like a halving happening, and whatever your profitability is now, you're going to be seeing 50% less if they do a 50-50 at the get-go. We don't know. So let's have to wait for that. So the current state as of late 2025, the network is in a testing phase for Crosslink, a hybrid system. So they're testing it right now. I was not aware about it. I didn't even think they started anything yet. So that's interesting. So they're testing the hybrid system here while proof of work continues to secure the chain. So the timeline, early roadmaps from 2021 to 2023 suggests a transition within 3 years. Current community discussions and technical documentation point to a gradual implementation, with sources admitting a potential rollout of the hybrid system around 2026. So that's the year we're at right now. Still, I don't see anything new on this, so I don't know where we really are. But the final goal is long-term objective remains a full transition to POS. So that's all we really need to know. Eventually, this may be full POS. So do you buy a miner that has potential to be proof of stake pretty soon? And in Reddit, other people are talking about this 4 months ago. Zcash may switch to POS, and then obviously people are defending it, saying that would not be good long term for ZEC. Just look at BTC's performance compared to ETH when it switched to POS in 2022, and people just saying, obviously, if you have a miner, you don't want this to happen. You want to be able to mine it forever, and you want it to remain profitable forever, but that never happens in crypto. Anyway, yeah, let me know your thoughts and opinions on this whole situation right now. All right, guys, that pretty much does wrap up this video, but I did just want to bring this to light to allow you guys to get information that you may not be aware of before possibly purchasing anything in these miners. So it's kind of the disclaimer, doing the research for you so you don't have to type of thing. But again, You know, a lot of you guys are probably gonna say, I'm not buying that, it's a waste of money, it's going to POS, Zcash is gonna crash, blah, blah, blah. You know, all that's gonna happen, but there's still people that purchase this. And if you're one of those, obviously, guys, that greatly helps the channel. Smash one of those links down in there, and I do earn a small commission for that at no extra cost to you guys, and it greatly helps out. So, you know, if you are purchasing these, use the link. If not, you know, ignore it all. It won't bother, you know, anybody whatsoever. But I did want to get the information out on my recommendation why you shouldn't get these. Well, people still always do, because FOMO is strong. And we don't know when that transition to POS could ever happen, if it will. We don't know how long Zcash price will last. But remember, we're in a bear market and the price doesn't really have anywhere else to go except down still, at least until around October. So for Bitcoin, that's when I feel the bottom will hit, but we'll wait to see if that happens. I do believe typical cycles are still at play. There is zero evidence to show that the cycle is broken. So until we see something different, that's what I'm rolling with. Anyway, guys, hit that subscribe button, share this video around. I will see you on the next one. Rabid out.